Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an awesome life. Please start sharing any videos that you love. Share them on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you choose. I encourage that. Let's get people to start to think a little differently and raise the frequency of the planet. All right? That's my whole purpose, is to reach as many people as possible. Today we're going to read from a book that I bought quite some time ago and never read. I'd heard about it, and I don't really understand the background of it. You know me, I don't really study other stuff. Why? Sorry. I don't know what's going on. Because I like to draw my, my teachings from what I'm getting, right? And mostly you'll hear people saying the same thing over and over again because we're all getting the same message. We're raising the frequency of the planet, and I was drawn to pull this book out. It's called the I Am Discourses, Ascended Master Saint Germain. I don't know who that is, but supposedly this, I don't know if this is a channeled book. I'm sure you guys will have comments about this. Again, it's irrelevant to me. All I know is that when I am drawn to something and it resonates really good with me and it's on a high frequency, I want to share it. This is page 3 of Discourse 1. I am is the full activity of God. In other words, as I've shared with you, I use quantum physics to explain this because sometimes we just can't go into that space. It's beyond our human comprehension. I am is the activity of God. Everything is I am. I am that. I am. So everything, including you, is the activity of God. I am is everything. All right? Quantum physics is everything. All expressing itself individually, but is one energy, which is God. Having placed before you so often the truth of God in action. You're seeing it all the time. I wish you to understand its first expression in individualization. So here's where we get confused. Well, we're one thing and we see this all the time, but then we're an individual. So we're going to go into that. And this is where we get really hung up. We think of ourselves as an individual. The first expression of every individual, everywhere in the universe, either in spoken word, silent thought, or feeling, is I am. Recognizing its own conquering divinity. What does that mean? Whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever goes on with you is a statement of I am. Does this make sense? Be careful with that. A word. I am. Oops, there goes my glasses. An action. I am. A thought. I am. It's so difficult to make money. I am. That's the statement you're making. You are, I am. You are the God, the activity, the power of God. And everything is a statement of I am. Does that make sense? The student, endeavoring to understand and apply these mighty yet simple laws, must stand guard more strictly over his thought and expression, in word or otherwise. For every time you say, I am not, I cannot, I have not, you are, whether knowingly or unknowingly, throttling that great presence within you. You're directing it. You're directing at all times. Remember I told you, I am not worthy. Boom. Actually, it's boom. Going into that reality. I'm not wealthy. Boom, you're going into that reality. You're making statements every time. And that reality, you're shifting into it. It's the God power being directed. This is just as tangible as if you place your hands about the throat of an outer form. Only with the outer form, your thought governing the hand, you can release it at any time. But when you make a declaration using the words, I am not, you set in motion mighty, limitless. I told you guys that's part of my training. This is interesting. This is new for me, by the way. One of my entire lessons, I have several lessons in my e-course at LandriaOnkka.com, is You Are Limitless. I am, you set in motion mighty, limitless energy that continues to act unless it is recalled and the imperfection consumed and transmuted. So that's energy. When you make a statement, it goes into action. The power of the universe goes into action, and unless you recall it, you have to transmute it. So energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So that's you just created it. You went into that probability, right? You made it real. Unless something changes that, so you can say anything you want, but if you're still thinking, that power of the thought over the word, you're still setting into motion the negative thought, the negative belief. Because when you say the word, if you're not believing it, the word actually takes on the meaning that I do not have. Remember I told you the 3-second advanced manifesting? If you go into that and it says boom, if you do boom, that one will come up if you search boom on my channel. I tell you that if you use a word, a powerful thought and word of something that you want, but the belief behind it is a negative one of it's that I can't really have this, the actual word takes on that meaning. So you can say, I have abundance, and if the belief and thought is that I can't possibly have that, then every time you say I have abundance, you're directing the universe to not give you abundance. Because that's the meaning you've attached to those words. Those words are powerful for you. So you can say, I have abundance, all I want. But if everything, thought and feeling and beliefs around it are that when you say that, you're believing no, that's the directive. Oops. So get that in check before you say those words, because if those words are going to trigger a negative belief, that directive is going to keep you in poverty until you figure out why you don't believe you can be abundant. All right? This shows you the enormous power you have to qualify this mighty energy of God. And I tell you, beloved students, dynamite is less dangerous. That's so cute. These thoughts sent forth. Wait. Oh, for that would be but liberate you from the body. Dynamite would do that. While these thoughts, sent forth ignorantly and ungoverned, bind you upon the wheel of re-embodiment indefinitely. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That thought is never destroyed. When you transform the energy of the thought into something else, it now has been transformed. And now your destiny, the results you experience, all changed. But not until what's behind that changes. It has to be transformed. Do you understand this? A thought is the directive. Power beyond your imagination. It is out there. Once you put it out there, and you continue to put it out there. I just did a video on this. That's sort of ironic. I just did a video on this, having you monitor your thoughts and give yourself a tick on the scale down or up. Just monitor your thoughts all day. No trying to change the thoughts or anything. I just had you monitor them from an egotistical standpoint. Analyze the thoughts, ticking up and down on the scale. And then asking yourself, where are you, what frequency are you on? And that is your directive to the universe. And everything you do down in that lower frequency, even if it's manifesting money, because you can manifest money down there, it's going to come from a lower frequency, and it's going to be a very negative experience. Either great loss or loss of friendships or relationships or jobs or whatever, because nothing good comes from there, but it can't. It's on a lower frequency, and everything's ego-based, ignorance, and so everything that functions down there on that level is going to have some negative consequences. So even if you're on a higher frequency and you lose money, and you're like, why is this happening to me? When you're on a higher frequency, you don't question it, because you know abundance is going to flow. You'll always be taken care of. And then when you lose that faith, you go back down here saying that the money counted, that's more important than anything else. And then when you have the faith and you're on the higher frequency, you go, there's something supposed to happen from this. Something is dissolving. Something is changing, transforming. So all these things that exist are now transforming. The energy is transforming. Now, if you have a negative thought about that, you go down to the lower frequency. Whatever you put out can be transformed. It can change. Thus, you can see how important it is for you to know what you're doing when you thoughtlessly use wrong expressions, because you are using the most divine principle of activity in the universe and beyond. I am. All right, so I'm going to continue this. I had to edit that out. I had to read a little bit. I want to make sure. Sometimes I go off into stuff. So I'm going to read a little bit further. Do not misunderstand me. This is no idle, foreign, or oriental expression. I don't know what that means. But the highest principle of life used and expressed throughout every civilization that has ever existed. This principle applies to all of us, not just, the Egyptians and the, South Americans and the, this applies to every civilization. There's no separation, and this is one energy, all right? For the first expression every self-conscious form of life gives is I am. It is only afterwards, in its contact with outer, wrongly qualified activity, that it begins to accept anything less than I am. It's when we come here and we start to go out into the physical world and lose contact with I am, which is really your higher self, right? That everything starts to go wrong. Now, dear students, do you not see that when you say I am sick, you are just reversing this principle of life, which is naturally all perfection? You're already the I am. You came here as I am. Perfect, all-powerful, limitless. And anything else that you do after that is what transforms that energy into whatever you direct it to be. I am sick. You are now reversing the principle of life, the I am that you came here that is never sick. It's all perfection. Thus requalifying it by your willful ignorance with something which it never naturally possessed. You're allowed to create that. It never naturally was that. So people are like, why are we doing this and that? We're doing it. What you are and what you came here as never was broke, never was sick, never was tortured or abused. We're doing that with each other. Because you can't be abused unless somebody abuses you. It's all a participation of all of the humans on this planet. We're doing it. Every single one of us came here as I am, the perfection of the one. Anything else that was added to that was us doing it. And this is what I want to get through to everyone, is that we are always in control of all of that stuff. Well, what about the babies? What about this? Yeah, what about it? It's in the same kit. Everything that is painful is us doing it. All of it. That's not God. That's not I am. We didn't come down. We came down here absolutely perfect. No illness. No struggling of any kind. Anything else is us doing it. And that's what we were allowed to do, is to experiment and to go into those spaces. But we took it too far. And now we must pull back into I am. Through long centuries of willful misunderstanding, humanity has charged the very atmosphere about them with falsehood and unreality. For I need not say to you that when you say, I am sick, it is an abject falsehood in respect to your divinity, which cannot be sick. Does this sound harsh to you? Then I say, oh, Saint Germain does a little spiritual butt kicking too. I like this guy. Then I say, think it over and you will see what a blessing and release it can be to you. I say to you, dear students, in the name of God, stop using these wrong expressions of your Godhead, of your divinity, for it is impossible for you to have freedom as long as you continue to do it. I cannot speak of this to you too often, that when you really recognize and accept the mighty presence of God in you, there are positively no adverse conditions. That's exciting, isn't it? This is what we talk about every day. The I Am Discourses. I know some of you probably read it. You're whole and perfect. Strong and powerful. Loving, harmonious, and happy. Why do we say that? That's the essence of you. Whole and perfect. Strong and powerful. Loving. Harmonious and happy. I am. I am. I am. And then I send that out to everybody else. It's changing the planet. You can change the planet. Do your exercise with tipping the scales. Catch those thoughts. You are absolutely perfect. You have the power of the universe flowing through you. You do. And guess what? You get to use it. If you don't believe you do, then that's what you're creating. You're creating a powerless person. What are you going to choose today? I like this book. This is fun. We're going to read it together. I already said it. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.